question from on the news feed from it looks like Sasheen Dunford. She's asking when America gave the natives reparations, many Europeans and Euro-Asians stepped in at the time to claim what was being given.
Oh, right. So that's like the $5 Indians. Mm-hmm. So they were coming in and trying to take the reparations for themselves. I mean, is that the point she's trying to make?
I believe so. Yeah.
Right. So you had some of the oppressors trying to claim the benefits of what, I mean, and if you want to call being pushed into these little reservations when you had a magnanimous country, open land. I mean, the bison, are damn near extinct from the strategy that they employed to try to kill off our brothers and sisters. All right. I mean, it's well documented. They wanted to create a welfare state with our brothers and sisters. And what's one of the ways to do that? Take away their food supply and their livelihood, because you understand that the bison, the ox, was a sacred animal, because not only was it a food source, it was clothing, it was shelter, it was medicinal, all right, to the Native Americans. And that was a strategy that they employed to take that away. And so, yeah, you're right. So they try to come in and do these reparations. And then what they do, they started giving you stale meat, poison meat. They didn't want that, though. They didn't take those things. They didn't want to live on the res. But when it came time to get tax breaks and money so that casinos and other things could happen, then they came in and tried to claim 1/5 Indian heritage so that they could go ahead and get a piece of those reparations. Listen, that if anything, that should show you the fallacy and the lies of the scripture tells you a gift destroyeth the heart. And some of our people take that and say, hey, well, no, they paid for what they did. They can never pay for what they did. Mm. And the only one that could make them pay for that, and judgment is righteous when it comes of the Lord, is of the Lord. Because I'll tell you one thing, we're not a violent crew. Again, there's negative connotation. You might see some of us impassioned or passionate about what we teach, but it's because we love our people. And when you start to think about, and I can only imagine what some of our forefathers went through, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It takes you to a place where it's anger mixed with frustration and love and compassion. And then finally knowing that there's an answer and a solution, and knowing that one day there will be judgment, not by our hand, but by God's.
And yes, and it's no wonder why we have this big either misconception or misunderstanding of various teachings and various indigenous people. So I'm glad you're on the show and coming to give that interpretation and give that concept, because again, it's a misconception among other cultures and natives, blacks, and also Latinos.